Hello, everyone. What a pleasure to be here at Union Hall 444 and 200. An opportunity to talk about our anti-scab legislation that is moving through the House of Commons. We've been working on it for a long while in partnership with organized labor in this country. An opportunity to make sure that the best deals continue to happen at the bargaining table. It's a way of standing up for workers. It's a way of standing up for all Canadians. And it's an important part of how we build a stronger middle class for the future. C'est un grand plaisir d'être de retour à Windsor aujourd'hui, ici chez Unifor, locaux 444 et 200, les opportunités de parler de notre législation anti-scab pour s'assurer que les meilleurs accords continuent de se faire à la table de négociation. On est là pour appuyer les syndicats, on est là pour appuyer les travailleurs. C'est comme ça qu'on va bâtir une classe moyenne plus forte partout à travers le pays.
Period with automotive news.
Greg Layson, Automotive News. 1 year from now, the IZEV program ends. What happens after that, after March 31st, 2025?
We're going to continue to invest in the future of EVs in Canada. We're going to continue to make sure that people are understanding that EVs are part of the future in every possible way, from manufacturing to getting Canadians from A to B. We're always going to look at ways of making sure they're affordable for people, even as we build the industry. There's lots of conversations to go between now and then. But we'd love to see more. We'd love to see more provinces stepping up with rebates, as some already are. We're going to continue to work and look at what the right thing is to do.
Next question.
Hi, the Prime Minister. Chris Hensing with CBC here. A question on behalf of our network colleagues. What does it say that India got YouTube to block access to a CBC Fifth Estate story that contains footage of the shooting of Hardeep Singh Nijjar in India?
I think it demonstrates the extent to which different countries have different approaches to freedom of speech and freedom of expression. I think it's extremely important to make sure that people have access to information and that journalists can do their job and challenge and hold governments to account. That's a value that we stand strongly for. Canada will always stand up for Canadians and stand up for the rule of law, and that's what we're doing in this case.
En français.
Okay. Je pense que ça souligne que ce n'est pas tous les pays qui protègent la liberté d'expression et le travail des journalistes. Nous savons que c'est important pour une démocratie robuste que les citoyens puissent avoir toute l'information et que les journalistes puissent faire leur travail pour protéger protéger l'intégrité des faits et aussi repousser contre les autorités et contre les gouvernements. Ça fait partie d'une démocratie robuste et je vais toujours être là pour défendre une presse libre, mais aussi pour défendre la règle de droit et la sécurité des Canadiens.
And on behalf of our Radio Canada colleagues, do you think approving an export license for armored vehicles to Israel would violate our legal obligations?
Canada has one of the strongest export regimes in the world. And I'm not going to comment on a specific case, but we continue to make sure that all decisions are taken in the appropriate way.
En français.
Okay. Le Canada a un des régimes les plus robustes au niveau de l'émission de permis d'exportation. Nous allons continuer de s'assurer que les règles soient suivies.
Next question.
Hello, Prime Minister Mal Hamidou, the Canadian Press. We know that the Canadian government ordered the national security review of TikTok 6 months ago. Is your government considering joining the U.S. in possible ban? And when are we expecting to a conclusion of this review?
As you know, Canada made the determination that no government phones or devices can have the TikTok app. That's a matter of security and safety. We're watching, of course, the debate going on in the United States, and I can't comment on national security reviews.
Okay, on a different topic, do you agree with the EU foreign minister who says that Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war in Gaza?
We are and have been from the very beginning extremely concerned about the humanitarian crisis ongoing in Gaza, which is why we have stepped up in terms of our aid, including to UNRWA, why we've continued to call for a ceasefire. We need to see the hostages released. We need to see Hamas lay down its arms, but we need to see humanitarian aid get in and Canadians and their families getting out. We're continuing to work towards a two-state solution with a peaceful, independent Palestinian state alongside a peaceful, independent Israel. This is what Canada continues to work on actively on the international stage, and we continue to push for Canadians to understand the pain each other are going through and be there to remember our core values.
Next question.
John Lidke, Rose City Politics. The Windsor region is tied for the highest unemployment rate right now in the country. We've seen some of the largest population inflows that we've had in 2 decades. And of course, it's buoyed right now by the fact that we've got major construction projects. We've got the bridge and the battery plant, of course. I'm wondering what your government will do to help alleviate that once these jobs do sunset, the construction jobs themselves, potentially increasing that unemployment rate.
Well, if we're talking about the Next Star plant, the construction jobs are significant, but there's actually more jobs for Windsorites in the plant once it gets up and rolling. Those are great union jobs, and it's part of what we've been fighting for. We know there is an opportunity to draw in investment here in Windsor where great things have gotten built for a very, very long time. We're going to continue to work to grow the economy and create the opportunities for Windsorites and indeed workers right across the country to thrive in a changing world. Our investments in the future of Windsor are things that aren't unanimous. We know the Conservatives continue to stand against these sorts of investments. We're going to continue to make these investments because we know that bringing in good jobs, creating a stronger, sustainable future is all about building a better future for Windsorites.
And we've seen some incredible increases in anti-Semitism across the country. I'm wondering what you think the role of the federal government is to help stamp that out.
Well, the government has continued to step up in pushing back against the rise in hatred that we're seeing around the country, whether it's working directly with police services across the country, whether it's making sure that community and religious centres have the right kinds of protections, or whether it's just reminding Canadians of who we are. Yes, the freedom to protest is sacrosanct and a really important part of our free, robust democracy. But that doesn't give you the right to make a fellow citizen feel unsafe in their own home, in their own community, in their own neighborhood. And we need to make sure that even as people are feeling extraordinarily impacted by what's going on the other end of the world, they don't take it out on their fellow Canadians, because that's not the kind of country we are.
Next question.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. Rich Garton from CTV News. What is Canada doing to ensure that our embassy staff in Haiti are moved out safely? But also, what is Canada doing to help stabilize the country?
This is an issue that Canada has been engaged with directly for about 1.5 years, even more. We have a strong and vibrant Haitian diaspora here in Canada. The ties between Canada and Haiti are deep and strongly well established over the past decades. For 30 years, Canada was part of international missions to go down and stabilize and help Haiti on governance, on building hospitals, on building prisons, on building police services. It is obvious that with the ongoing challenge, as much as the international community will continue to have a role to play, if we want a sustainable solution, it has to be led by Haitians themselves. And that's the work that we've been doing, and I've been doing personally over the past year, trying to bring together Haitian community, Haitian leaders, different political actors on various sides of the democratic systems in Haiti, to come to a consensus where the violence can be reduced, control can come back in, and there's a path towards full resumption of their democracy. Just over the past few days, last week, I had multiple calls with Caribbean leaders on Sunday night and Monday during the day, spoke with a number of different other leaders, whether it's Mia Motley from Barbados, whether it's Andrew Holness of Jamaica, President Ali of Guyana, who's the head of CARICOM. I spoke with Ralph Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I spoke directly with Ariel Henry, who is the current and possibly outgoing Prime Minister if the Transition Council can be pulled together. Canada is deeply and actively involved in this process because we need to build a political consensus. It is not easy. The humanitarian and security catastrophe that's going on in Haiti right now is extraordinarily challenging. I spoke with the President of Kenya just over the past couple of days as they will be hopefully leading a multinational security intervention force to help stabilize Haiti. Canada has pledged about $80 million for them. We are extremely active on this file and will continue to be. I spoke with members of the Haitian community last night. We will continue to be there to try and make sure that peace and stability is brought back together along with a path towards democracy. But ultimately, it's on Haitians themselves to want to do this, and we will be there to support them.
Next question.
Good afternoon, Mr. Prime Minister. Taylor Campbell with the Windsor Star. The City of Windsor fell significantly short of its housing targets last year, but it did not qualify for the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund. So what is your government doing to make sure municipalities that aren't meeting those goals can?
Over the past number of years, actually, since we took office and took seriously the need to invest in housing, we've delivered about $180 million to Windsor that has resulted in over 9,000 different units and homes being built. We know how important it is to solve for this housing crisis. And we will continue to be there with multiple programs that will continue to invest and make sure that there is more housing built. The Housing Accelerator program was a specific program that we designed to encourage cities right across the country to be really ambitious about housing, to change the rules of the game around density, around zoning, about use of public land. So it's not just this low-income apartment complex that the federal government's building or that seniors residence, although we're continuing with those. It's to change the rules of the game around how housing is built in a community. And that program, the Housing Accelerator, was designed for cities that were ambitious about changing the way housing was built. We were really pleased recently to sign a Housing Accelerator agreement with Tecumseh, worth $4.4 million, because Tecumseh stepped up with an ambitious vision. The City of Windsor chose to go a different way, and therefore there's no Housing Accelerator funding for them, but we will continue to work with them on multiple programs. And if the City of Windsor decides to be more ambitious about its housing goals, we're always there to talk.
Next question.
Good afternoon, Rob Hindy from AM 800. You met with local union officials, different stakeholders. Can you tell us what did you hear from them, and what are you hoping, or what was the message you received from them?
The message is what we're doing is making a huge difference in Windsor. The fact that we brought in these investments, have been fighting alongside them for better opportunities for workers in Windsor, for strength for unions, moving forward on the anti-scab legislation is a huge piece of it. But it's not just defensive investments, it's all defensive moves. It's also drawing in aggressively the kind of opportunities to grow in Windsor and to support good union jobs into the future. I have had, over the past many years, great conversations and working relationship with our union friends here in Windsor and indeed right across the country. And the big challenge is to make sure we're continuing to do more of the same. And I know we're all agreed on how ambitious we need to be.
Last question.
Mr. Prime Minister, I'm wondering if you can update me on the progress between talks between the federal government and Honda and the possible expansion in Alliston.
One of the things we knew when we made a decision as a government that wasn't an automatic decision, wasn't a decision that other governments would have made, certainly not a Conservative government, to invest in the kind of innovation, technology, and electrification that is going to lead to not just better outcomes for the environment, but better jobs for communities across the country, better opportunities to grow and innovate and support communities in every corner of the country, but particularly when it comes to auto across Ontario. So we were serious about creating that ecosystem, whether it's the Volkswagen investment or the Stellantis Nexstar investment. These are showing that there is an ecosystem being built. It is no surprise to me that other automakers are now looking at this saying, wow, from critical minerals all the way through to finished productions and recycling of batteries, Canada has the entire value chain, the entire supply chain. It makes sense that companies like Honda are very interested in building up their footprint and doing more here in Canada because we've created the conditions for that deliberately and as a bet and an investment on the future. So conversations are ongoing with Honda. There's no announcement to make today, but I can tell you that even that interest comes from the fact that they have seen just what can be done with extraordinary workers in this country, with extraordinary supply chains, with a vision and a betting on the future that puts workers' success at the center of everything we're doing. So I'm excited about these conversations, but like I said, won't be announcing anything today.
Thank you, everyone.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde.